guys, it's Jenny, also known as Han Line Art, here on YouTube and Instagram. It's been a month since I uploaded my first YouTube video, so I'm glad to be uploading the second one. In this video, I am doing a Draw This in Your Style challenge, which if you guys don't know, you're basically recreating an OC original character that could be from a franchise or one created by an artist here on the internet, and you do it in your own art style. For this particular challenge, I wanted to attempt recreating an OC I found on Instagram. Unfortunately, I think they deactivated their Instagram or maybe changed username, so I won't be able to link their profile in the description below. But they did go by Mia Mochi on Instagram, and if you wanted to see other submissions and interpretations of this character and recreations of this character, you can go on Instagram and check out the hashtag MiaDTIYS. That's MIAHDTIYS. If you guys are curious, I am using my iPad Pro. I think it's the 11, but I will put the specific detail down in the description below. And I am using Procreate, which I absolutely love. I feel the interface is really easy. There's a lot of things you can do in it. Simplicity is key for me. As much as I appreciate more complicated digital art programs, it can get a little overwhelming sometimes, so I love Procreate, and I will die on that hill. I do not care. Originally, I was planning on uploading this video before Christmas and no later than New Year's, but obviously that is not the case because I'm uploading at the end of January. I was just running into a lot of issues that I didn't really expect, the first being storage problems. I was running out of space when I was recording this video initially, and I realized pretty quickly on in the process that I couldn't record it the same way that I had with the first video I uploaded here on YouTube, which was the figures gesture drawing. You can check that out if you'd like. It's a pretty short video, so nothing too long or crazy. In that particular video, it is a true time lapse with very little cuts where you're seeing the process from beginning to end. But with pieces like this, I realized that just was not beneficial because it would have taken forever to record and I just would not have the storage capacity to have like an 8-hour time lapse recording. So I decided instead for this video, I wanted to include specific shots of the entire process, from the line art to the coloring, shading, highlighting, just the rendering in general. And I think it's more entertaining anyways to see that versus beginning to end time lapse, no edits. So I hope it's entertaining this way. I feel like this will just work a little bit better from this point on in my channel. I don't want it to be really long drawn out videos. I would prefer to capture key moments and just keep it entertaining for you guys to watch, and it'll also be a little bit more fun for me to edit too because I get to decide what to include in the video. Another issue I was running into was the lighting situation. I was recording part of this video, actually a big chunk of it, at my parents' place, so I have the glaring light from the ring light and then also the chandelier above. It's a little bit of a problem in certain points. So thank you for bearing with me as I figure out the best setup for my camera as well as the lighting situation. The more I record videos, I'll get more comfortable with where I'm putting my camera, where I position the ring light. And since I was at my parents' for the holidays, it's not going to be a reoccurring issue for me to deal with. Typically when I tackle Draw This in Your Style challenges, I like to switch a couple things up. I might keep the main pose the same, but I try to give it a little bit of character. So for this particular challenge, I wanted to include a mirror selfie of Mia's OC, which I thought was very fitting because the OC's got that 2000s flip phone, which I think is so cute and so appropriate for the aesthetic of the character, which is giving me cyber goth raver wear, and I love that. It's very Y2K, early 2000s, mid 2000s feel, and I absolutely love that aesthetic so much. I wanted to include other elements in the piece that I think would showcase this OC's character, at least my headcanon of the character, which would be little things like the Polaroid, skincare, some makeup. That little Stanley cup was actually a lot of fun to draw. I just wanted to include extra items in this piece that would give some interest to the overall drawing. One of the many art goals that I have set for myself in this year of 2024 is to finally finish filling up the sketchbook that I was actually sketching in my first video, the gesture figure drawing one. I had purchased that sketchbook back in 2018, but went on kind of a long art hiatus, so it was sitting around collecting dust for a while, and it wasn't until March of last year did I decide to really make an effort to get back into drawing and to just get the drawing muscles warmed up again. It didn't really occur to me just how long it was since my last sketch in that particular sketchbook until I looked at the date, and wow, it was a few years, which was kind of surprising and also disappointing for me because art's always been a passion of mine. So for me to go that long without seriously drawing and being consistent with my craft was, I don't know, it was kind of a wake-up call that I had just been putting my passions on the back burner for such a long time, and it was making me feel kind of weird and out of touch with myself and identity. So for this year of 2024, I really want to make an effort to stay consistent. Whether or not the sketches turn out great, it's a process, and I want to enjoy it more than be critical, because I can be my worst critic, and that's not always the best when it comes to learning and developing skills, because if you get discouraged easily, you're less likely to pick back up on things that you genuinely enjoy because of that little voice in your head that's telling you, it's not that great, why are you even trying? Art's a very personal craft too. Yes, you post things online because you're proud of what you've created and you want to showcase it, but ultimately it is something that you're doing for yourself to nourish your soul and to feel like you have purpose here on this earth that goes beyond just working your 8 to 5, taking care of your family, taking care of people that depend on you. It's something I take very seriously, and it's one of those things that I really cherish because in that moment of creating art, a sketch, whatever, that is time for myself. That is time for me. I get to create what I want, and it's a process. So instead of being critical of how it turns out, I want to just enjoy the process of what I'm creating, push myself to experiment with techniques, work on fundamentals such as shading that I'm not the best with, but I'm very determined to get more comfortable with it this year. And also not take such a long time with sketches, because that's a problem I have. The sketch took a really long time for me to work on, let alone the line art, the shading, the highlighting, the rendering. So I want to get more confident with the pieces that I'm creating so that I can spend less time being indecisive and more time actually committing to the lines I'm putting on a paper or a tablet. There was a lot of elements of this piece that I really enjoyed, and then others that were kind of a head scratcher for me. The first being the fishnets. In Mia's OC post, and I chalk this up to it being more of like a stylistic feature, but the fishnets on Mia are more of like a flat 2D look, which I totally like, and I've done that before with drawings I've done in the past. However, for this particular piece, I kind of wanted to try to give the fishnets a little bit more dimension, and I think I did an okay job with it, but it definitely could have been a little bit better. But again, everything in art's a process, so I'm sure the more I draw clothes and practice with things like that, the more comfortable I'll get, and it won't take me hours to figure out how it would lay on a body. So in this particular point of the video, I decided to switch up the angle, which I actually kind of like more than the overhead shot. It just feels more personal to me. And as much as I like the overhead shot, I feel like it's more appropriate for tutorials. That's just my personal opinion. So I think from this point on, I'm going to start shooting my art videos from this particular angle. Hopefully you guys can still see the details, still get a good idea on what this process is like, and that it's still entertaining to watch. So as I mentioned earlier, shading is one of those fundamentals of art that I wish I had taken time to learn more when I was getting into it as a child, because if I had, instead of just bypassing it and only creating art with line art or flat colors, I definitely would be more confident in it now as an adult. But you live and you learn. So yeah, the shading did take a while for me to figure out because I'm still trying to figure out where to put shadows depending on the light source. So definitely took longer than I liked. And there's things that I could have done and maybe should have done a little bit differently, but overall I am pleased with how it turned out, and I am glad that I pushed myself to shade, because looking at the piece overall, it just gives it so much more depth and more of a dynamic feel than if I had just kept the flat colors on it. I also decided to go for more of a cell shading effect rather than cross hatching, which I've done in the last couple of posts on my Instagram. I just thought this stylistic feature would fit the piece better, and also the same thing could be said about the liner. I wanted to go with something a little bit more solid, a little bit more sharp, which kind of contrasts with the last two posts on my Instagram that has more of like a pencil line art feel. Just doing some shading right now, and some of the objects in this piece, it was a no-brainer to figure out where the shadows would fall naturally, like the string light for instance, and then other areas like her body was kind of hard, not gonna lie. But again, art is a process. It's meant to be fun, it's meant to be enjoyable, and I think I did a good job at trying to push myself and challenge myself to actually do the things that would have frustrated younger Jenny. So I'm proud of myself. I liked how this piece turned out. Thought it was very cute. I'm just adding in some highlights now, which I know is kind of hard to see, but I think doing so just gives it this really cute, shiny touch. I do wish I had added some more highlights on Mia's character, but it just looked a little weird, and I think that was also the particular brush I was using. It just looked a little bit too bold. Highlights tend to be a little bit softer, so I need to mess around with Procreate a little bit more and really learn the full extent of this program, because I've had it for a couple years and I still don't know everything it's capable of. I decided to recreate my signature and make it super simple as opposed to having the whole handle in it, so it is just Han. And this is the completed piece. It took a long time, not gonna lie, but like I said, I'm pretty pleased with how it came out overall. I do hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please feel free to give it a like, subscribe to the channel, give me a follow on Instagram, comment, share, and I hope you guys will continue to join me on this art journey. If this is where we depart, thank you so much for watching this video and joining me, and I will see you guys very soon in my next video. Thank you guys, have a good one, bye!